The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
Does anyone actually know what's going on here?
I literally have no idea. Help.
We're 20 whatever. Hi, hey, and hello. Welcome back to 20 Whatever. On the couch today, we have me, Sierra, and our special guest, Hannah, who is our former nanny. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited to have you here. You're one of my favorite people, first of all.
No.
And I feel like we always, like literally from when I first interviewed you, like we always vibed. But I feel like the last couple months of you working for us into like now and, you know, now you having your other job and everything, I feel like we've gotten even closer. And you are very much in your 20 whatever. You are,
Totally,
you know,
yeah.
Graduated college, moving from your part-time job to a full-time job in your career. So I thought it would be fun to kind of interview you a little bit, talk about our relationship, talk about what it's really like to be a nanny to an influencer, and also just like your perspective on life in your 20s and where you are now.
I love it. Yes, I definitely agree. I think I've always loved you guys and Grace and the whole family, but I definitely agree. Like, we've definitely gotten closer, and I'm just excited to be here and answer all the questions that it'll be fun.
I'm so excited to have you. We have two very heavily poured glasses of wine. I'm like, we gotta be ready. We're not
Yes.
pouring refills in this episode.
Liquid courage.
Yes. I'm like, I just pumped. I'm hanging out with Hannah and Jess for 2 hours. Let's do it. So I'm just excited to like have some time to chat with you, talk a little bit about all of those things and what's going on in your life. So I guess to start, like, tell us a little bit about you, Hannah. What's your elevator pitch?
Okay, so my name's Hannah.
Hi, Hannah. Welcome to 20 Whatever.
I'm 22. I'm originally from Northern California, but I moved down to San Diego to go to college here. And I absolutely fell in love with San Diego and was lucky enough to land a job down here after graduation. So here I am.
Yeah, snaps for that. And you roped your boyfriend into moving down here too.
Yes, I did.
After he graduated. So shout out to Josh.
Shout out Josh.
Another one of our favorite people. And probably Grace's favorite person.
I try not to get butthurt by how much she loves him, truly. So it's fine.
It's been really cool to like see your relationship with Grace and everything. And like when we hired you, a big thing that I was thinking about was like, okay, this person's gonna have like such a huge impact on my kid. Like, who am I gonna let into that inner circle? And when I met you, it was like so clear that like you are someone who I want to rub off on my kid, you know?
Aww.
And so it's been so cool to like, because when you started nannying for her, she was 8 months old.
8 months, yeah. Wasn't walking, wasn't talking. It's crazy to see her now.
Yeah.
I think we definitely have to tell the story of like how we found each other.
That was actually one of the most common questions.
Oh, okay.
We got questions from Instagram was like, how did you guys find each other and what was the interview process like? So I guess from your perspective, like,
Okay.
yeah.
Though I think we have to share both our perspectives.
Okay,
But
okay.
I feel like it's pretty funny. So we found each other on care.com. Back in high school, I nannied for another family. And so I've done care.com before and knew that was like a way to find families. And when I was here for school, I didn't really want like a restaurant or retail job just because usually they're not really flexible with schedules. And like with every semester, my schedule changing, I was like nannying's the way to go. I love kids. I've always worked with kids. So I go on care.com and it was literally the most perfect alignment. The exact 2 days I had free were the exact 2 days you wanted. And so I was so excited. I believe I messaged you first giving, you know, my elevator pitch of why I'm qualified to watch your kid. And we set up an interview and I come to your house and on your upstairs you have your like YouTube plaques and your profile picture was not flashy and like you just looked like a normal family. So I walk in and I was like,
You're like, who the fuck is this?
I literally was like, and I grew up watching YouTube. Like, lifestyle girlies, I know them all. So I was like, who is this? So the interview goes super well. Like, I love you. I love Grace. And you leave it as like, oh, I'm going to talk to my husband. Like, I'll let you know. The second I get in my car, I Google you. Like, I don't even pull away from your house. I am like, I need to know. And I was like, she's like really big. Like, how do I not know you? So then I go to your TikTok, obviously. I literally had favorited I know the TikTok. It's the one where you like are like, oh, like when you try to make coffee at home, but you go to Starbucks and you
Just filmed that one with me.
like, I literally liked that. And I was like, how did I not recognize you? So I was like, that is hilarious. So then I'm calling my parents. I'm calling my best friend. I'm calling Josh. I'm like, guys, I need this job. I literally need to work for this YouTuber. That is so fun. So then that night, you can take it away.
Yeah. Well, that's so funny that you say that because I knew that you had told me that like you Googled me after, but I didn't know that you had seen one of my TikToks before.
Yes, before the interview. So that's like the funniest part. I was like, how did I not put two and two together?
That's so funny. We were going through we had interviewed like quite a few people before you, and a lot of people that I'm like, I like you, I would trust you with my child, like you seem very qualified, but no one that I like clicked with really well. And like, it's neither here nor there whether that's like necessary, right? Like if I hadn't found someone like you who I'm like, I want to be besties with and drink wine on the couch and podcast together, like it would have been fine. But when I met you, I was like, oh my God, I think we're the same person. Like,
and then flash forward, we are like, we both were like, oh my gosh, we played soccer, we did theater, like all these little things. And I'm like, no wonder we like got along.
Also, like the way that I end up hiring like almost all theater people, sometimes without even knowing that they were theater people, like it's just a vibe.
It really is.
We're drawn to each other.
It's so funny.
But I interviewed you and I loved you. And you left and I think I had told you like, I really like you. I think you'd be a great fit. I'm going to, we have a couple more interviews and I'm going to talk to my partner and we'll get back to you. And I call Steven right after. I'm like, she's the one. I found her. She's perfect. And he was the one who said, well, did you give her the job? And I was like, no, I feel like I was trying to like play it cool. Like, well,
I was trying to play it cool. I was the faker. I was like, she can't know I'm fangirling right now.
And I was like, she can't know that I'm like maybe in love with her. So Steven was like, if you really think that, you need to call her right now and offer her the job because I bet she's interviewing other places and you would be so sad if the person who you think is the best fit for the job went somewhere else just because you were trying to play it cool. And I was like, okay. So then I felt a little embarrassed to walk that back. They're like, I'll get back to you next week and literally call you like an hour after the interview and be like, so do you want the job?
It's so funny. I was anticipating a call, like, or just like a text, regardless if you were going to go. But I was like, this has to be my family.
Oh,
like truly. So it was a match made in heaven.
Yeah. And it was cool too, because like, I don't know, was like an added element of just, I guess, something to navigate with being like an influencer. I wanted someone ideally who understood the world somewhat, who wasn't going to be like weirded out by it and all the, stuff that goes on running a business and a channel from my house too, because that's the other thing.
Right. Yeah.
But I also didn't necessarily want someone who like knew me out the bat, and so that's why you were perfect. You knew, the whole world. You understood things.
Yes.
You've been around for a lot of shoots now and you meshed right in with everyone. But also, like, you didn't have any preconceived notions about me.
I remember you saying that once because I feel like a month or two into me working, since you're around so often, like, Grace is napping or we're all, like, sitting eating lunch, like, we got to talking. And I just remember you being like, yeah, like I really wanted someone who knew YouTube. And I was like, I'm your girl. Name a YouTuber. I know them. I watch them. So I think it was perfect. And now I can say I'm a fan. Yeah. I am a fangirl. I watch every podcast, every vlog. I am there.
Quick pause while we say thank you to today's sponsor.
Let's talk credit. We all know how important it is, but building it up can feel like such a hassle. And when it comes to buying a home, a car, or finding a new apartment, bad credit can be a big roadblock. And great news, I found something that makes it super easy. It's called Kickoff. Here's the tea. Kickoff is this awesome service when you start building your credit for just $5 a month. I was looking for a way to boost my credit without the stress, and Kickoff made it so simple. I signed up in minutes and my credit started to improve almost right away. What's great about Kickoff is that it's a credit line just for building credit, not for spending on random stuff. You make small, on-time payments and it shows up as good behavior to the credit card bureaus. No catch, no credit check, just a smart way to get your credit on track. Plus, Kickoff has 100,000 positive reviews on the App Store, and most of them are 5 stars. It's safe, legit, and super effective. If you want to start building your credit with Kickoff, you can join over 1 million people doing the same and get your first month for just $1 at getkickoff.com/20. That's kickoff without the C. GETKIKOFF.com/20. Disclaimer, must sign up via getkickoff.com/20 to activate offer. Offer applies to new Kickoff customers, first month only. Subject to approval. Average impact of 30-point increase in the first month based on Equifax Vantage Score 3.0 changes for Kickoff Premium customers with starting credit below 600 who made their first on-time payment between January 2021 and March 2024. Payment and credit activity outside Kickoff can impact your credit. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to change. Individual results may vary.
It's so sweet. It's been, you even worked on one of the shoots too.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
The thrifting one.
Yes. Mm-hmm. We wanted a production assistant for that shoot. It was one of our first Schultzzie Collective big shoots. And, you know, usually prior to that, the videos had just been me. And so like the team was behind the camera. And then we realized if we're putting the whole team in front of the camera, who's behind it? Mm-hmm. So we were asking people, like just in our lives, all of us, of like, you know, would you want to come and just, you know, work one shoot? As a production assistant filming short form. And I had asked you, because you weren't working that day, but you also didn't have class. And you were like, oh my God, this is so fun.
I was like, this is amazing. I will do anything.
Yeah.
And I kept asking Jess, I was like, are these videos okay? Like, am I doing a good job? Is this what she wants? She's like, you're doing fine, Hannah.
I'm like, it sucks you already work for me, like on a personal side, because I would hire you on the business side too.
I'll do it all. I'm an all-in-one.
It's funny too with you knowing like the YouTube world a little bit. Do you remember, I think it was maybe like a year or so into you working with us, you texted me like in all caps and you were like, oh my God, this is the weirdest thing ever, but I'm listening to Pretty Basic, which is Remy and Alicia's podcast, who 20 whatever, we are all big stands of.
Pretty Basic. I love you so much, Remy and Alicia.
Shout out Remy and Alicia.
I want to be your best friends, please.
Hannah and all of us are obsessed with you.
Please.
But you had texted me because they talked about like me and parenting on their podcast.
Yes, I so vividly remember. I was doing homework and on my TV, I was watching like the YouTube video of the podcast, and all of a sudden I hear like, shout out Sierra Schultzzie, like she's a great mom, like shout out Grace. I literally was like, my worlds are colliding right now. This is so insane. And I texted you like, oh my gosh, I know, aren't they so sweet? Like I love them. And that's when I found out you like knew them more than just like followed each other. Like you've talked to them, and I was like, what? That is insane. So yeah, love them.
Yeah, when like your favorite podcast starts talking about your nanny kid, I can imagine that being a little weird.
No, I was freaking out, like, so like, oh my gosh. But I wanted to comment. I know them. So funny.
I did have some questions from the audience that we can kind of relate to that too. A lot of people wanted to know like what it's actually like working as a nanny for an influencer. Yes. This question I have is working for a content creator what you would have expected?
I don't know how to answer this question without it look like I'm just like kissing your ass. But yes and no. Yes, because I was like, I got to see the behind the scenes of a lot of your big shoots, and I was like, this is so cool. But no, in the aspect of you're not one of those influencers who's like so out of touch with reality, where you have like 10 different like assistants. Like, I don't know, like sometimes I see some influencers that seem like very much like everyone does everything for them, and you guys are not like that at all. But I think it was really cool getting to see the behind the scenes of your job, but also like on the flip, get to see like your just like everyday normal life.
Yeah.
Like seeing you like when you're not working, when you're not vlogging, when like, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it was really fun. Like, because like I said, like I've worked for other families that are just not influencers, and we were super close. But I also just feel like it's different because with you, like we are, like I would consider you one of my closest friends. That
yeah, me too.
It's different because I don't see you as like, oh, you're my boss and like I work for you. It's like, oh, we're just friends, and like I just happen to like love all of you and like get to hang out with your like Grace all the time, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's why it's been really cool like seeing our friendship evolve after you stopped working with us. And also one of the reasons that like I thought it would be, you know, I feel like we always could have done a podcast episode together. I always could have like shown you in the vlogs, and I'm sure like it would have been so much fun for us. But that wasn't your job, right? Like you weren't working for the business, for Sierra Schultzzie, the channel. You were working with like my family personally.
Yeah.
And so I never wanted you to feel like pressured in any way that you had to do anything like that. And so it's cool now, like doing this podcast episode with you and just watching our relationship change, as honestly, I feel like I personally see you more now than when you nannied, because before it was like, as soon as you got here, I'm like, jump into work mode.
Yes.
And now it's like, we're making plans to hang out.
It's so funny you say that because there were so many times where you obviously are working when I'm here, so I know I'm not hanging out with you. But like when Grace would be napping, we'd both be taking our lunch. I'm like, oh yeah, I get to sit like talk to Sierra. Like I get to like talk to her today. And I agree. Now it's like more of a conscious effort to like, let's all do something. And it's so fun. Like, it's funny. Like, even though I was really sad to like obviously stop being Grace's nanny, like we still see each other all the time. I still live so close. Like I'm going to see you guys all the time. I want to be in Grace's life forever. So it's just like, it's so nice.
Well, didn't you guys just go on vacation to LA for the show? And because you guys have vacationed a lot.
We have
Disney.
The Disney trip.
Okay, hold on. I need to re-answer that question. That was the coolest shit ever. Guys, be a nanny for an influencer. You get to go on a free week-long Disney trip. Oh my, that literally, I will never experience Disney like that again. Because going with like you, I've gone to Disney more times with you than I have in my entire life, for one. And like there's been days like you, me, and Grace will go and you just know your way around the park to get like the short lines and all of that. But seeing the behind the scenes of how that whole trip went blew my mind. I will never get to experiences like that again. It was insane. And getting to like meet so many cool people like that I recognized was amazing.
It was so fun. I feel like that bonded us on another level. Like all four of us, like me, you, Steven, and Grace.
So many jokes came from that trip. Like Silly Mama started there. Like just all it like, and it was, I remember both of us after the trip all talking, even with Steven, like, yeah, we were kind of nervous like a week together. Like I was like, they're going to get sick of me. You thought I was going to get sick of you. But like, if anything, I was like sad when it ended. I was like, guys, I don't want to go back to reality. Like,
I know. I'm like, let's get back on the boat.
I remember I literally emailed all of my professors, all the classes I was missing. And I said I had a work trip.
Yeah, I mean, you did.
And they believed, oh, yeah, that's fine. I'm like, yeah, they didn't ask. I wasn't going to tell them what the work was.
Yeah.
I'm going to Disney for a week for work.
Yeah.
So, oh gosh. So
it was
fun.
so cool that you were able to come. I got that invite maybe 3 weeks or so before the trip. It was like a decent amount of time, but not a ton. And I realized, okay, I'm going to be shooting content through this whole trip. And at the stage that Grace was in, she was really clingy. And I was like, if just the three of us go, either I'm going to end up like propping my phone up all the time to try to shoot content of myself while Steven's with Grace, or she's going to be in more of the content than I want her in. She's going to be in it all the time.
Right,
She's going to want to, be with us. All right, quick pause. Let's hear a word from our sponsor. Today's episode of 20 Whatever is sponsored by NYX. I saw a TikTok the other day that was like, y'all, where are we as grown women buying our underwear? Where are we getting it? And I so relate to that. I have been there. There is a serious need for underwear and intimates that are actually designed for real bodies. And let me tell you about the perfect answer to that question, NYX. NYX is an intimate apparel company that is reinventing products for real life. They're on a mission to empower people everywhere to live unapologetically free. NYX leak-proof underwear are an absolute game changer. They're comfy, they're stylish, and they have a range of absorbencies, which make them perfect for periods, for light bladder leaks, and sweat. My period came back a lot quicker this time postpartum, and I tried NYX for the first time, and let me tell you, I became an instant fan. They look, feel, and machine wash just like regular underwear, but with that built-in absorbency protection that has you covered. The technology here is truly amazing, and they come in sizes extra small to 4XL with all kinds of colors and prints and styles. There are so many options to suit your preferences. From bikini to boy short, thongs to high rise, NYX is the #1 leak-proof brand in North America. You can even do what I did and match your leak-proof undies with one of their perfect fit wireless bras. They're incredibly comfortable and supportive, one of the most supportive wireless bras I've ever tried, and their range of styles and sizes goes up to a G cup. You can also find your right fit with their virtual fittings. It's easy and totally free. With amazing leak-proof lines and maternity, swimwear, shapewear, and more, NYX has got you covered. Millions have switched to NYX. I have. You've got to check them out. That's NYX.com, code 20 for 15% off, KNIX.com. So I was like, maybe they'd let us bring someone with us to help. And so we asked and they said, yeah. And you were obviously the first person we were going to ask. If you couldn't go, we were going to ask my mom. My mom was a little salty about that. But it was so awesome to have you there and just so much fun. And like just a once in a lifetime trip for me too. Like
so fun. I was so honored when you called and asked me. I remember I was with my parents and they were like, oh, like, what was that about? I'm like, guys, I know it's not my spring break, but I'm having an extra spring break. Like, I have to say yes. Like, I need to go to this. And I feel like it was so perfect because even though, like, a week sounds like a long time, like, it was so split up how, like, Disney, like, the background, how they had everything. But also, there was times where it's, like, it was just me and Grace, so you and Steven could go film. And then there was even times, like, Steven is so funny. He like, I felt bad because I was like, this is my job. Like, I'm supposed to be with Grace. He's like, no, you go, Sierra. Like, you film. So I remember, like, taking your photos. I was like, I'm, like, her little assistant. Like,
well, and, like, low-key, you take better photos than Steven. So it was great.
Also, the karaoke up.
Yes, we sang karaoke together.
Oh, my gosh. That was so fun. We were in the night lounge. We went to karaoke earlier in the day, the family one. Mm-hmm. We all loved it. We all vowed we'd come back. Steven got out of it too easy because we were like, you're doing it with us. But he was, I'm going to take Grace back to the room. I was like, I'll take her. You go up there. You go up there. But
And he's like, please don't take my out. Karaoke is my personal hell.
It was and it's so funny because, like, I don't have a singing voice and you so much do that video, I was like, she is just the star and I am just there.
You do.
No.
You do. But you know
I was so nervous up there too because, like, I never do karaoke. It was so fun.
You did so good. And honestly, like, the fact that I didn't have to bully you into it, like, it was your idea. You were like, Sierra, please sing karaoke with me. I was like, don't ask me twice. I'm there. Like, let's go.
I thought it was so funny too that our first instinct was like, what Disney song are we going to do?
Of course.
And we go and there's, like, guys doing, like, Backstreet Boys, like, doing a full-on performance. Like, we're the only people who did Disney, but it's fine.
I'm like, it's a Disney cruise and we're here with Disney. It's gotta be. And we did Love is an Open Door.
Obviously.
So fun.
And now Grace is obsessed with that song, so every time she sings it, I just, like, think of us doing karaoke. So it's so cute.
That was so fun. That trip was also so many late nights. Having another adult there with us to, like, you know, take Grace back to the room was so nice because most nights we were up and out doing, like, structured activities till at least midnight, usually like 2 a.m, 3 a.m. And I'm like, I mean, like, I want to be there, but also then to be like, all right, like, come on, what was she, 1.5 at the time? Like, let's go to this, you know, event that's going so late. And so it was awesome to have you there. And you and Steven switched pretty evenly.
Oh, totally.
Which was fun because I think he also would have gotten really burnt out staying out that late every night.
Yeah, the one morning I think of is when you guys went for the early breakfast, I think, like, Tiana's place. And so
Yes.
Grace and I, like, slept in. And it was just, like, a slow morning. And it was just so fun because I feel like I woke up early, like, shortly after you guys left, but she slept in. That I really just got to be like, I'm at Disney right now on a cool trip. Like, I get to be with Grace. It was so fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
It was super fun. And since then, we've gone, like, so many times together just for funsies.
Yes, my favorite was I had never been to Disney, like, when it's decorated for fall, and you were immediately, when you heard that, you're like, okay, so what day are we going?
Right.
So me and Grace went, and she got to meet Sally and Jack's going. I think it was for the first time, right?
I think it was, yeah, because we went again. It was either then, because she met them like 3 times that fall.
Aww.
We went with Rachel and she met them. We went with Steven and she met them. But I think that was the first.
She still is so obsessed with Nightmare Before Christmas. Seeing her talk to them, like, it was just so cute. Because she's like, Oogie Boogie's not scary. And they were like, really? She's like, yeah, he's not scary. Where's Zero? Like, it's so
that. She's like, where's Zero?
like, oh, he's on the ride. Okay. Like, just, like, confused. Like, oh, okay. But no, that was, like, my favorite because going in the fall was just so fun. Because I've been a few times in the summer and it's just so hot and miserable. And, like, everyone's on break. Whereas, like, the fall, again, going with you, you knew how to get all the short lines. So, and, like, we would trade. We would do single rider, and, like, one of us would stay with Grace and the other one would go on, like, Incredicoaster or whatever.
Yes.
So fun. I love
So
Disney
fun.
now. Like, I've always liked it.
Yeah.
But now, because of you, I'm like, I like want to go to Disneyland.
Yes. And we still have to rope Josh into a trip because the fact that we haven't done Disney with him too.
He's a Disney hater. I told
know.
you. He says it's too expensive and too long. And I'm like, you just haven't been with Sierra and Steven.
And we need to get him a little pair of Mickey ears, maybe the embroidered ones, you know, put a churro in his hand.
Oh, okay. With the churro, he'd be happy.
Get him on Space Mountain and be like, are you not entertained?
It's so funny. Yeah, we'll rope him in. We'll have Grace ask him, and then he'll have to say yes.
Then he can't say no.
Exactly.
The amount of time that your boyfriend has spent coloring with my child because he can't say no. And so she's looking around the room. She's like, she has boundaries. Mommy has boundaries. Daddy has boundaries. You want to color with me for 2 hours?
Should we talk about the Josh and Grace lore?
Let's talk about the Josh and Grace lore.
Okay, so Josh and I have been dating ever since I started working with you guys. And obviously, him and I were long distance. So, like, she never met him, wasn't around him. And there would be times once she started talking where I would tell her stories like, oh, I'm seeing Josh this weekend. And she got to know who Josh was. So then she would bring Josh up. So then I, like, to the point where
she had never met.
Never met. But I started being like, oh my gosh, Sierra and Steven are just going to think I sit around and talk about my boyfriend all the time. Because she's like, let's call Josh. Let's talk to Josh. Where more Josh. Yes. More. And I'm like, I don't want this to come up. Like, but then I'm like, oh, okay, let's FaceTime Josh. Why not? And so she was so shy. Like, she'd be like, let's talk to Josh. And then as soon as they'd be on FaceTime, she'd just be like, hello. Like, barely say hi. So the first time they met, she was super shy. And then the second to now, she sees him and she does not care about me. She goes straight to him. Hi, Josh. Where's Josh? Josh's my favorite person. And it melts my heart. Like, the one photo I have of them holding hands, like, so cute. But
it's funny, too, because he had, like, never, like, been around little kids.
No. So he refuses to hold babies. He's so scared of them. And he was like me. He worked with kids in high school, but doesn't have any, like, close kids in his life. Yeah. So seeing him with Grace, I'm like, oh, it's so natural. Like, it's so cute. This is adorable. So, yeah, she loves him. And I think the graduation lunch when they colored the most. That was crazy. Yeah. So funny. And he still talks about it. He's like, yeah, he almost brought a coloring book to LA. He was joking about it. He's like, should I go get one? I'm like, honestly, yeah. So funny.
My favorite is a couple weeks ago, we were out to breakfast and Grace just randomly goes, let's all go around the table and say who we like the most. I like Josh.
And she just said it with her chest. And and all of us are like, really? Not mom or dad or Hannah? No, Josh. Josh is over there cracking up. He's like, Grace is my favorite too. Like, all right. So funny.
Nice.
Thank you.
You're like, I've only spent 2 days a week with this kid for 2 years.
It's fine.
Now, quick pause. We're going to take a break and hear a word from today's sponsor.
Have you been looking for an alternative to vaping or even just wanted to smoke a bit less, but you just weren't sure where to start? Start with Fume. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device. Flavored air isn't like vaping. If vapor was compared to sticky soda, Fume cores are closer to herbal teas. Fume has lots of delicious flavors to choose from, like crisp mint and my favorite, orange vanilla. It's the perfect amount of citrus and sweetness. Fume has no vapor, so you can use it anywhere. No nicotine, which makes it non-addictive, and has non-toxic flavors, so it's also a guilt-free alternative. To round it out perfectly, there are no batteries, so that's one less thing you have to charge in a world full of cords. Fume continuously invests in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their products, and it's backed by doctors in the U.S. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be their next success story. Head to tryfume.com, that's tryfum.com, and use code 20 or scan the QR code on screen to get a free gift with your journey pack for a limited time.
Speaking of which, one of the questions a lot of people ask is we put in the question box, like, questions for Sierra's ex-nanny. Why is it ex? Why are we broken up?
Ooh, there's tea, guys. No, I graduated in May from college, and we always knew, because I was very honest when I started, like, I'm a sophomore, I plan to get out in 4 years, like, this isn't, I'm going to end it forever thing. And so we always knew that timeline was coming, but I think it was both really bittersweet for both of us. It's sad for me because I know if I didn't find a job right away, you guys would have kept me for as long as it took for me to find one.
Oh, absolutely.
I found one right away. Like, right away, like, I had 2 weeks off and then I started. And as exciting as that was, I was like, this chapter's closing, like, way sooner than I want it to. But, yeah, I now work in corporate America. I work at a, like, medical technology company on, like, the business, service, and sales side. So I really like it. It's a great company. I did an internship there last summer. And then I was a temp for them for 6 months. And then now I'm hired full time.
And we're so proud of you.
Thank you.
I hate them because of that, but I'm so proud of you. They're the luckiest company in the world to have you. Obviously, we adore you, but also just like everyone who ever interacts with you is like, she's a real life Disney princess. Like, she's an angel on this earth. Kenzie cried on your last day.
That actually touched my heart because I feel like she doesn't really show emotions like that. But she was like, that actually made, we need to talk about that. Jess and Jaden and Kenzie. I always worked Wednesdays and they're always here Wednesdays. So like I got so used to seeing them as well. And on the last day, I'm like sitting with Grace, you know, playing with dolls per usual. And they come in with a gift and I was like, I'm going to cry right now. Like, this is so sweet. Last day was very emotional for me. Grace likes to bring that up.
Yeah. Hannah, remember last time when I saw you and you were emotional?
I'm like, yes, I do remember that. Thank you. You cry one time and she just has to keep bringing it up.
Yep.
But no, it was really sweet. The last day, I wanted to make it like super special. So we went to this really fun beach that has like a park. And we brought her dolls because I know you've mentioned a million times, but like all you do is play with dolls with her right now. And I remember I sent you guys pictures of like the dolls in the sand, the dolls in the water, like just playing with the dolls. And then we went and got donuts in the morning. And then we all went to the farmer's market and dinner. It was so fun.
Yeah.
Such a like fun last day.
You made her the most beautiful scrapbook of all your guys' memories too.
I literally cried making that. I don't know how to say this without like trying to sound like a kissy guys, but like genuinely Grace is like my best friend down here. Like I love her more than words can describe. And I always like sent you guys photos whenever we were like, especially like out of the house doing stuff. So like you knew she was safe. I don't know. And so I just had so many photos of her. And I had like a few pictures of both of us together. And so I just wanted to give them all to her. And I wrote like a little caption with like what we were doing that day, just because I'm scared. I know I'm going to be in her life forever, but I'm scared she's not going to remember when I was like her nanny. She'll just remember me as like, oh, that's like my friend.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I want you to remember like when you were 10 months old on this day, we were doing this, you know? And it was really cute. When I gave it to her, she wanted me to like read it to her. And so it's sweet.
My favorite part of the scrapbook was the fact that it didn't end. You like filled like half of it and then you left in like a bunch of empty pages and you were like, to be continued.
Yes, I know. Because I don't know. Like I know anyone who's a nanny can like relate, especially if you were a nanny for a long time. Like you feel like you're a part of the family. And I feel like with you guys, I really did and do. And I just love Grace and still want to be there for all of her big like milestones and stuff. So I want more pictures to fill the book, you know?
Yeah.
Love her. Bring her up here.
She was so excited when you came over today. She's like, what's Hannah here? I was like, Hannah's here to play with me today?
Yeah, I'm with mommy today.
Which was funny when we were setting up for the podcast. You were like, this is usually the part where I leave.
Yes, because Grace is super interested. She loves Riayn and P and she loves being here. And like that was something funny to navigate too with like being with her is like she was so eagerly wanting to be in here. And I was like, low-key, me too, girl. That I didn't know when to be like, okay, Grace, like we need to go. Like they're filming or they're doing this. So you would always be like, okay, like 2 minutes, Grace. I'm like, 2 minutes, Grace. Like then we gotta get But no, it was funny because like doing like the sound checks and stuff, I was like, oh, like
never been here for
I've
this
never done
part.
this. I love that viewers ask questions.
I know, right?
I think this is so fun. I'm like, I don't know.
You're a celebrity, Hannah.
No, I wouldn't go that far. The one time on the Disney trip, I remember you like posted a picture of all of us. You're like, our nanny Hannah's here. I'm like, I made it. I'm on the Instagram, guys.
One of the things I saw a lot in the questions too was, you know, we've talked a lot about the positives of being a nanny. What do you think is the hardest part?
I think the hardest part is as she's gotten older dealing with like her emotions because she's 3. She's obviously going to have her moments as we all do. And kind of just knowing like what to say, how to comfort her, and also doing it in a way that you guys like approve of. So there was a lot of moments where I would channel my inner Sierra. Aww. What would Sierra do right now? Because I've seen you like with her, like comfort her, calm her down. And so whenever she's having a meltdown, having a moment, or just really upset over something, what would Sierra say? What would Sierra do? And just like getting her to calm down. And I think for the most part, I was good at
You're
it.
so good with her.
I think there was only a handful of times where I literally had to like call you and Steve and be like, please come downstairs.
Yeah.
She just wants you. She's not gonna give on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the hardest part, was just as she's gotten older and like pushing boundaries of especially like hard things that I'm like, hey, mom and dad, I know they're gonna say no to this. I know they're gonna have my back. Like, we're not doing this.
I think that's a huge thing too, is like making sure that everyone is aligned and on the same team. Because as she got older, she would start then trying to ask us for things that you had said no to, or run to us or something like that. And from the very beginning being like, whatever Hannah said, like we're on the same team, we're doing the same thing. Or if like we set a boundary or like there was a consequence, letting you know like, hey, we're not going to do this today because, this happened, and just making sure that we're all on the same page so that the kid doesn't feel like,
Hannah says no, but mom will say yes.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
And that's the same thing with parenting too. I'd say that's like the hardest part of parenting, is like managing the emotions, holding boundaries while giving space for emotions, right?
I think watching you with Grace when she's like super sad or super mad, I'm like, that is how I want to react, because you like are so like, I think the biggest thing is you and Steven treat Grace like a human, not a baby. Like you don't, I don't know how to, you know what I'm talking about? Like you give room to be like, it's okay to be sad. It's not okay to do this though. Whereas like other parents would be like, stop crying. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's, I think like my number one goal as a parent is to like treat my kids like humans. And
you
not,
do.
Yeah,
like truly.
Thank you. That was a big thing for me, especially with emotions. I was like a highly emotional kid. And a lot of the times it was like, stop crying, or why are you crying about this? Or why are you, right? It was always like kind of negative that I was reacting in this way. And so I always want to give space for my kids to like feel that way. But also at the same time, I don't want to be a permissive parent and like let them do whatever they want because they're upset or because they're mad. And walking that tightrope is so freaking hard.
Honestly, yeah. I think you guys do a really great job. Like,
Thank you.
Grace is just so emotionally mature. Like, the way she's able, when she's super upset, to take deep breaths and tell you why she's upset, like, most kids can't do that. And I really think that's, like, a reflection of you and Steven, like, making sure to, like, comfort her when in times of need,
Thank you.
So.
Yeah, it's like an everyday, right? It's not like one day you figure it out and it all makes sense. It really is like such an everyday battle. And I think for any caregiver, parent, nanny, teacher, anything like that, that's got to be one of the hardest parts.
Yeah, I think, too, it really helps that, one, I am close with you and Steven, but also you guys were around a lot. So I got to witness, like, okay, this is how they handle this situation when it comes up when we're at the store, at the library, wherever. I'll know how to, like, how would they handle it,
One of the questions I had pulled was, like, what was it like working for stay-at-home parents? Because I think a lot of the times that's viewed as a negative for nannies.
There's such a negative connotation. I could see why. There's one family in particular that I worked for here in San Diego, not back at home, for 3 months. And the mom worked from home, and it was like the second he cried, she would open the door. What's wrong? What's wrong? And it's like, you didn't even give me a chance to like comfort him, or you know what I mean? And it just feels like they're breathing down your neck.
Yeah.
You and Steven never made me feel like that, unless she literally was crying for 10 minutes, which at that point I'm like counting down that, like, what is it going to take for you guys to come downstairs, please? And I see why there's a negative connotation, but I think it's really just like the family you work for. Because you guys never made me feel like, oh my gosh, like they're watching everything I do and say, and where it's like, why do you even have a nanny if you're just going to micromanage them? Because like the whole point of having the help here is so you can focus on work or whatever you're doing,
Right. I think that separation helped a lot, being able to be on a different floor of the house.
Totally,
like,
yeah.
Steven's office is upstairs, my office is upstairs, the team all works upstairs, and then downstairs is all like, our family space. And so having that space was really nice. When I was nannying on a summer job, the family that I worked for, both parents worked from home, but it was like they weren't there unless I asked for help. The door was closed and locked, and they were in their separate part of the house.
Yeah, and that's so much better.
Yeah, and I felt like I was also a teenager, so it was nice to have them there when shit hit the fan. And I think it just gave me some sense of security of like, okay, like if things go wrong, they're here. but they also never interfered, and that was so nice.
Yeah, I just think it's whichever, like how the family you work for, how they operate, I guess, because I could see why some people think like, oh, I would never do that or whatever, but.
Do you have any other, I guess both of you, because see, you did nanny and summer and all that. Nanny pet peeves, babysitting pet peeves.
Ooh.
I'm thinking back to just like all experiences, and I think a pet peeve for me is parents who kind of just like let their kids walk all over the nanny. Because in one family in particular, the kids were much older, like 3rd, 4th grade, and it was very much like, I'm old enough to do this type of thing. And I don't know. I think that would kind of be mine, where they don't like respect, like, I have to listen to you. Like the parents don't really like preface it with that.
Right.
So then it kind of just feels like, I don't want to be mean to you, but like, no, you can't have the iPad for 5 hours every day. Like, you know what I mean?
And if the parents don't model that respect, the kids, especially older kids like that, aren't gonna.
Yeah. So I think that would be like one of mine.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of other ones.
In that kind of same vein, one of the questions I pulled was someone asked if there were any red flags when you started this job or when you met us.
Red flags?
Said Sierra, first impressions. Were there any red flags? ?
My first impression of you. This is so embarrassing that I remember what you were wearing.
Oh, really?
You were wearing a headband like you're wearing right now, but it was bigger and it was like printed.
Okay.
And you were wearing baggy jeans and like this like baggy white t-shirt. And you looked like such a granola mom that I was like, I like her already. And then I look up and I see the YouTube plaque and I'm like, all right, like I could work here.
Oh.
I think it's different when the kids are older, but since Grace was so young, I think my first impression was like, you were asking me all the questions like, have you ever worked with babies? Do you know how to do this? Do you know how to do that? I'm like, oh my God, she's not going to like me because like I haven't worked with enough babies. Because I remember I only had one other 10-month-old that I had watched at the time. So I was like, I know the basics, but not really. So maybe, but no red flags.
It was all green flags on my end. I was like, I love this woman.
Yes, I was like, the only thing I remember from the interview was you asking me like, you know how to do bottles? And I was like, nope. You know how to change a diaper? I'm like, yeah, I could do that. But I remember it was a guy. It was a boy baby.
Oh, okay.
And so you were like, it's different when it's a girl. I was like, I wouldn't have known that.
But you were so like eager to learn.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
And Steven and I have talked about this too. And this is something we've had to navigate with some of our family members. Sometimes people who have some experience with like young babies, but not a ton, are more receptive to feedback, to learning.
Oh, totally.
Because we showed you how we do everything and you did it exactly like that. Whereas some of our older family members who have raised a lot of kids and been, you know, parents and aunts and grandparents and all of that for so long are like, no. I know how to do this and I'm going to do it my way. And I'm like, that was in the 90s and things are different now.
I don't even have a kid and I could like rant on this topic because it just makes me so angry. Because it's like, one, it's not your kid. Like, I knew stepping in, like, I'm not going to do things the way I think is right. Like, this is your kid. I want you to be happy. I want, you know, you to think I'm doing a good job. But also when it comes to like family members and stuff, it's like the boundaries and having to be like, no, like, I don't know, like one of the things that like blew my mind was like formula goes bad. I would have never known that, but like I like, if it was even 5 minutes too close, I'm like, I'm throwing it away. Yeah. Like I'm not risking it, you know? Whereas I feel like, yeah, an older family member would be like, it's fine.
I gave my kid milk that had been sitting on the counter for 12 years.
So,
yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's just a generational thing, but I feel the same way where it's like, I want it, what you said was Bible.
You're going to do it by the book.
Yeah.
It's funny, before we had you, we had family helping to get me some like uninterrupted work time. And we had to give both of our parents a lot of feedback. And then one day my brother watched Grace and we just showed him how we did everything. And he literally did everything exactly the way that we had showed. And we're like, oh,
wait a minute.
Why is the person who's never watched a baby doing everything, you know, perfectly? And I think it is sometimes a little bit of that, like, and I don't want to say anxiety, but a little bit of that like worry to do things, you know, the way that the parents do it can sometimes be a good thing.
No, I would say definitely was a little bit of anxiety for me.
Okay.
Especially like, I know we've talked about this, but Grace starting solid food was the most stressful like few months of my life because what's it called? Baby-led weaning, right? Mm-hmm. How you just let them choke, kind of. I would not breathe watching her eat anything. Like, because, oh my gosh, it was so stressful. And I know, I'm like, this is what they do. This is a thing. This is how it goes. This is what most parents do. But I was like, she's literally took the biggest piece of a banana or pizza or whatever and I've ever seen, and she's going to choke, and it's my fault.
Oh.
And it was so,
that's,
thank God. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank God
Done
we're
with
past that.
Yep.
We are past that.
It is crazy though, because you were like with Grace for so long, 2 years is such a, and to go from 8 months to like 2.5 is such a huge change. Like, I remember so specifically having a conversation with you where you were like, it's going to be so cool when she starts saying my name. Like, I can't imagine her saying my name. And now she's like,
I know.
talking to you in full sentences.
It's so crazy. Like, I remember when she called me, I was like, I'm like, this is the best day of my life. This is so amazing. And now hearing her just, we have full on story time now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And she just has such a special relationship with you and connection to you. And we knew she was going to be like sad about you leaving, but how hard it hit her really, even kind of surprised us, because she was really emotional about it for a long time, but like she handled it so well. And I think once she understood that like Hannah's not going anywhere, she's just not going to be here all the time, then she like, once we had like hung out a couple times after, then she was like, all right, this is good. And now mommy and daddy get to be around too. Like,
yes, so like probably a month leading up to it, I say 3-4 weeks is when you guys started to be like, Hannah's leaving soon, kind of just like prep her for it. And every time I'd come in, Hannah, it's okay that you're leaving because I'll still see you, right? You still come over. And then I get a new Hannah. The new Hannah is what got me, because the first time I was like, new Hannah, what? But then I was like, wait, that's kind of sweet. You're calling her new Hannah. Like, not new nanny, new Hannah.
That's the thing. She mixes up nanny and Hannah all the time. Like, we were watching Sound of Music, and I was explaining, like, oh, like, she's a nanny. Like, they call it a governess. It's like a nanny. And she was like, so that's their Hannah. And when our new nanny does start, we're going to have to really, like, nail it into Grace. Like, not new Hannah, new nanny.
I know,
like,
I don't want her to be offended or anything. But also, she's 3, like, it's,
Yeah.
I know, I've told you this too. Like, I'm like, for your sake, I want Grace to love her. For my selfish reasons, I want her to be like, where's Hannah?
And the first time she doesn't get her way, it's going to be, I want Hannah.
Please call me. Please call me when that happens. It'll make my whole day. I'll be like, I'm coming, Grace. That is so funny.
One thing that I do think would be interesting to talk about is just your transition into corporate America and into your field, from being a student, being a nanny, being in a sorority, being, fully in your college life, to now being like, oh, this is what I've been working towards, but now it's real.
Yes. This could be a whole...
This could be its own podcast in itself.
I feel like I have always loved college, but I was very ready to be done. Like, especially my senior year, I kind of was just like, I'm kind of over this. Like, I want to be making money. Like, I want to be doing my own thing. And it was really hard because I was a business student. And I feel like that's what kind of everyone chooses when they don't know what they want to do, because it's broad enough. And that was definitely me. But by the time like sophomore year rolled around, I kind of was having an identity crisis of like, what am I going to do with this? Like, what am I passionate about? Because what I originally wanted to do, like my freshman year, I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. And it was actually my parents' idea, because I always loved the idea of being a nurse, and like I love science, but I knew I wasn't cut out for that field of like having to deal with seeing people like stuff like that. I was like, my heart can't handle that. And my parents were like, there's like an administrative side of like healthcare. Like, you could work in that. That's business. So started doing that. And then I found the internship, and I loved the internship, but I was commuting really far every day. So it felt like my whole summer was getting up, working, driving, eating, showering, going to bed, and repeat. And I had a second identity crisis of, what am I doing? Like, corporate America is just how everyone makes it sound. Like, you do nothing besides stare at a computer and then go home, and like, there's no time for anything else. And granted, it was when I was the intern, so I felt I was trying to prove myself, because I was the bottom of the barrel. I wanted them to like me. I wanted them to like want me to still work there. And I told you this off camera before, but I was like, I'm just gonna become an esthetician. Like, that sounds so fun. I love like skincare, all of that. Like, I was like researching esthetician schools, and then I saw the price tag associated with it, and I was like, okay, we're a little too deep into college to switch it up, so we're gonna stay with this. And then when I got offered this full-time role, I really did some reflecting because I was like, this is what I want. And now, post-college, like, I feel like it's very different because a lot of my friends are really struggling, just hearing them talk about how they weren't ready to give up college. Whereas I felt like since, like, I kind of had my job lined up and I moved, like, I was ready.
You're also so mature. Like, I think for a long time, it seemed, were really ready to be done with college. Like, you are wise beyond your years, mature beyond your years. You were like so done with like the party scene, and you were ready.
Yeah, touching on that, like, I wasn't a sorority, but I would not classify myself as a sorority girl. Like, I was not in your face about it. It was very much for me about the leadership and like connection experience.
Yeah.
And I feel like the issue with being in the sorority was I was surrounded by everyone who just wanted to like drink 5 times a week and just like all they can talk about is boys.
Yeah.
And I was not in that phase of life. So I was like, like, if this is what college is, like, I'm ready to be done. And like, granted, I sometimes am like, was that just who I was surrounded by, or is that just like universal? Because maybe it was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was ready to be done. And now, gosh, am I a month now post-grad? Yeah, a month. So I've been working, and like, honestly, corporate America is a lot better for those of you who are early 20s, maybe entering that phase. Like, it's not as bad as it seems. Granted, I do have an amazing boss who lets me work from home. So I go to the office and I work from home. I do both. So, and like, I love my team. Everyone's really nice. So I think for me, my biggest advice is just keep the positive mindset, because last summer I saw myself spiral into, I hate this. This is the next 40 years. Whereas now I'm purposely really trying to be mindful of like, no, like, when I get home from work, I don't need to just eat, shower, go to bed. Like, let's go do something. I'm trying to like force myself to have hobbies.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, otherwise, I'm going to end up miserable. And granted, it's been a month, so give it a few years and I may change my mind, but that's where I'm at right now. I think I do like my job. And like, I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just the side of TikTok I'm on, but like, there's just so much like negativity around like corporate America, but like, there's so many positives too. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Because I graduated, it was business management, entrepreneurship. And so I went into college thinking like, I'm going to start my own business. But after taking all my entrepreneurship classes, I realized how naive little 17-year-old Hannah was. Because I was like, I'm just going to start a business when I graduate. It's easy. But I'm like, no, you need like hundreds of thousands of dollars and investors and all this. Whereas like, you don't have to worry about that in corporate America. Like, I have the security of like 401k and like health benefits. Whereas like if I was an entrepreneur, like you probably know, right? Like having to find all of that yourself versus it just being a pamphlet that I read and sign up.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely more security. And I see a lot of people talk about on TikTok as well, like they're 5 to 9 after their 9 to 5, right?
Yes.
If like it can be, you know, so kind of mind numbing to go into corporate America, but finding ways to have an identity and a life after work ends, I think, is so important. And you've done like such an amazing job at that.
Oh, well, thank you. I think my other thing, maybe this is just me, but maybe someone out there can relate, that after school and work and all my extracurriculars, like my like relaxing was always like just like watching TV, watching a movie. Whereas now I'm finding the days I do that after work are so much worse, because it's like I just went from staring at a screen to staring at a different screen and then going to bed and starting over. So I'm trying to find hobbies. Like, I love, like, we literally ran into each other at the farmer's market last night.
I know. Like, literally, I feel like we go to a farmer's market together at least once a month. And then the time that we don't go together, we run into each other.
It was so funny. I was walking there with Josh and I was like, Sierra and Steven always go to this one. Like, what if we see them? And lo and behold, I hear Steven's laugh. I'm like, they're here. Where are they? It's so funny. So yeah, I think just that's my biggest piece of advice is find hobbies. That is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, next question I had. In what ways does Grace act like Sierra or Steven?
Okay, Grace picks up on your slang 100%. Like, we'll be talking and she'll be like, okay, so this, like, my other one that I think is so funny because it's so you is let's make a plan. because you always, and like, it makes sense. Like to a toddler, you kind of need to have some structure, and even just like in your regular day life, like you are very organized, which I appreciate because me too. And so you'll always be like, okay, Grace, let's make a plan. We're going to do this, 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 and then we'll do this. And like on the days where I'll be like, okay, Grace, like, what are we going to do? Let's make a plan. So, and I'm like, you literally are Sierra. That is so, okay. How is she like Steven? I think I don't know, maybe she doesn't do it as much anymore. Maybe I just haven't been there, but she really likes like video games, which I think is cute.
Yeah.
So, gosh, this was like honestly a while ago. Like, do they still play the Disneyland game?
They do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a thing where Steven found this like Disney kind of game where they just like played in the park on, I'm assuming it's like PlayStation or computer or whatever. And Steven told me about it one day, and Grace got so excited to tell me like what it was like. And then probably for like a 6 to 8 month period, every time I was over, she'd be like, tonight I asked Daddy to play Disney game.
Is it the Dreamlight Valley game?
They did just start playing that recently, but the one Hannah's talking about was called Disneyland Adventures, and it was old. It was from like the mid 2000s. I think it was like 2009, 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And it was literally just you walk around Disneyland and meet characters.
And she ate it up.
Yeah.
And it was just so funny because we'd be talking, like we'd just be hanging out, and she'd be like, I'm like, well, Daddy's not going to be home for a few hours. I wait here on the stairs. I'm like, okay, like we're going to be here for like 3 hours. Like, let's ask him. So I'd like text him and give him a heads up, like, hey, by the way, like Grace really wants to play the Disney game tonight. And it'd be so funny. Like, I'd be like, okay, like if you're good, Daddy's going to say yes. Like,
Right?
good behavior. So yeah, I think she likes games, and I don't know a lot of toddlers that would like want to play video games.
Right. So, I mean, he found the right one.
No, for real. So funny.
Okay. Any interesting stories from what it was really like working for a YouTuber and seeing the behind the scenes?
Like the behind the scenes of like what you do for work?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. I think I was here for the 20 Whatever podcast shoot.
Yes.
So I would say that shoot was really fun because Grace, I think you also within that shoot did like your rebranding, you know, where like you took new like profile pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So Grace got to be there. So we would like hang out outside, and it was so cool to see what really goes into it because again, like as someone who like loves watching like a few YouTubers, seeing all of the work that goes behind the scenes, because like beforehand I would have thought like, oh, you just like take a few photos. Like seeing how much went into like specifically this podcast with like having to do meetings beforehand to like brainstorm what the shoot was even going to be about and like make the backgrounds. And I think Jess, you painted this, right? Like it's so cool.
She did, yeah.
And like the
Shout
design
out to Jess for that.
Yeah, shout out Jess. I think it's really cool to see how much is put out there because I feel like influencers kind of get a bad rap. Like I'm sure you know, like just like people like, oh, their job's not hard, and like, yes, you're not like a neurosurgeon, but like neither am I. And I think your job is difficult. So like I could not be someone who has like so much like a public figure and like have so much criticism. Like, you know what I mean?
I think the way that I would put it is it's easy in so many ways and it's a blessing in so many ways, but in the ways that it's hard, it's uniquely hard.
That is okay. Yeah, you took the words like from my brain. That is what I think. Like, yeah, like you have like the flexibility of like working when you want or like get to be really creative. But yeah, like it's hard.
Yeah. There's the negatives that come with it are unique to this job, you know, or I guess like being a public figure in another way. But at the end of the day, like if the positives didn't outweigh the negatives, then I wouldn't be doing this, right? Then
totally.
I would have been like, peace out a while ago. And I think there are influencers who it gets to the point where they're like, yeah, the scrutiny and the criticism and the, you know, never being able to like truly log off and turn it off it outweighs that for them. But the reality is there are so many upsides. It is such a privilege. It has done so much for my life and me personally, that I do understand where viewers get frustrated when, you know, influencers maybe don't acknowledge that as much as they should have. I think there are probably a lot of times where I should have acknowledged it more. And people on the outside are looking and going like, I would kill for that, right? Like you're not grateful or you complain too much. And it's a balance of, you know, wanting to be honest and vulnerable about the parts that are hard, and not wanting to paint everything like it's rosy all the time, but also understanding that the people that are watching would probably kill for a lot of those opportunities.
Yeah, I think you are very humble. Like you're not.
Thank you.
braggy in any sorts. And I also feel like you, I mean, granted, from what I've seen, you take criticism really, really well. But I also feel like your fan base is very respectful.
So respectful.
Like, there was one time in Disneyland, like, this woman came up to you with her kids and just said, like, hi, like, I love to watch you. And it was just very normal. It wasn't pushy. Like, I don't know, like, and granted, I've never met, like, any other influencers or celebrities, but I just feel like a lot of other fan bases would be a lot more disrespectful or, like, try to take pictures of you or, like, you know, and, like, I just don't think your community is like that at all.
Yeah.
Which is really nice, and, like, that's what you created, so.
I agree. I think, like, my viewers are, and the community that we've built around, you know, 20 whatever and the Schultzzie Collective and my personal stuff is so amazing, so respectful. People that I would, like, truly be friends with and that we vibe so well together. We're in the same age range mostly. And so it feels very normal in a sense that I know it's not normal, but it feels so normal to me to meet people when I'm out and about.
And it's so cool. Like, I was like, when I've been there and fans have come up to you, I'm like, how do you, like, get used to that? Like, that's crazy that they recognize you. That's, I don't know. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think another thing with being an influencer too, right, is that there is a criticism on everything you do. Mm-hmm. And part of that is accepting that, like, okay, this is kind of what I signed up for. But also sometimes it gets to be, like, really too much and, like, really invasive. And so I understand people wanting to not share everything, right, and hold it back, because once you do share it. And I think there is kind of this thing, speaking of, like, being a nanny, of influencers and celebrities hiding their nannies, and not in the sense of, like, you know, not posting them or saying their name, but not saying that they have a nanny, right? Yeah. Hiding the fact that there is help. And it's interesting to me because I understand part of it in the sense that, like, I get criticism for having a nanny. I get comments and DMs all the time. They're like, what do you need a nanny for?
It's just so funny, because if you were in any other profession, those comments wouldn't be made, you know? Because it's like, everyone needs help. It takes a village for a kid.
Yeah.
And I feel like, too, it's like you said, when you share, I get not wanting to share, because it's like, people just assume I'm here 40 hours a week. I'm not.
Right.
I am very part-time. Like, you are with Grace way more than I am. And so it's like, for them to, like, criticize you, it's like, I'm here for 2 days a week.
Right.
Like, that's nothing, you know? Like, are you criticizing the kids in daycare 5 days a week? No.
Yeah.
So it's yeah. That's so funny.
Right. And so I get people not wanting to share it because of that, because you will get criticism. But I do think it creates this issue of, like, false comparison, where, you know, people are looking at this person and going, God, like, why can they do everything and manage it all and I can't? And that's where I do think there is an element of responsibility where, like, yes, protect your peace, share what you want to share, what you don't want to share. But for me, I always wanted to be transparent about where I have help, because I don't want people looking at my life, and I do share so much of my life in the vlogs and stuff, and being like, how is she able to do it all while being home with her kids every day? And I do have help twice a week. And that is a huge amount of time that I'm able to get work in and, you know, film without my kids and run my business and all of that. And so I think it's important to be honest about that. But I also get why people don't want to.
But, like, also the misogyny of it. Because no one is DMing Steven saying who's watching your kids. Because I feel like having friends who are moms, having a mom, being a nanny for 8 years, also, you just kind of can't win a little bit on that, because you're kind of fucked if you do, fucked if you don't, like, on a base level. So and it's true. Like, men at work people aren't coming up to them and being like, oh my God, is your husband at home with the kid? Like, who's babysitting your kids? And
my husband's babysitting.
Girl.
You mean he's watching his literal child?
Right.
Like,
right.
You are it's so misogynistic, because you're right. No one's asking Steven, and Steven, like, he works corporate America. Like, he's home most of the time, but he goes to the office and no one's making any comments towards him. Yeah. Granted, he's not sharing it online, but I doubt people in the office are like, oh, you're not home with your kids right now?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and I do have a huge level of flexibility where I'm able, like, I could work with my kids with me all the time, but I don't think I would be able to give them the level of attention that I want to, and it would also take me 3 times longer to do all my work, which is what I'm learning right now in this gap before our new nanny starts. Yeah. It's doable. I can do it, but it's so much harder. And I think I'm a better mom when I do have that help. And it's a huge privilege to have that help, to have the, like, financial ability to hire that help. But having the ability to, I feel like I shouldn't not do it just because, like, I'm able to manage it, having the ability to do it, I think it's fine to take that help, you know?
No, I completely agree. I think you are right. You're very lucky. I'm sure there's lots of moms who wish they had the help, but it makes you a better mom to have work, and it makes you a better, like, businesswoman to not have to do it with your kids around. So I think having the separation and having dedicated time for both is super important and a really good balance.
Yeah, and it took me a while to find that balance. Like I said, before we hired you, we had family help, and it just wasn't as consistent. And it was, okay, I'm looking at my schedule and I'm like, I can get 2 hours of help here and 3 hours of help here. And what if I filmed on a Saturday and like I could stay up late and do this? And once we hired you, it was like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Not only to have like that consistent help, but also like you've been such a strong figure in Grace's life. And like, we just appreciate you so much and like love and adore you. And through this, I've gained like a new best friend,
Yes.
you know?
I know. I feel the same way. Like, I just love you guys. Like, you seriously are my family down here. And I've always like said that. Like, on another note, since I did go pretty far for college, like, I was really struggling to like have a sense of community down here. And I feel like you guys were seriously like the light at the end of the tunnel for me, you know, like when things were shitty at school or, you know, like friends, like having you guys and Grace was always the highlight of my week, like getting to see you guys, you know?
Yeah. I will never forget the first time I met your parents and your mom looked at me and she goes, "Thank you for being Hannah's family down here." And I was like,
and like, seriously though, because like, I know you and I have talked about off camera just some struggles I had like personally through college. You guys seriously were like, I knew like if I was ever in distress, I could come here, you know?
always.
So.
Yeah. When your mom said like, "Thank you for taking care of our Hannah," I was like, oh God.
No, but like my mom genuinely means that because she's heard it all from me. And like, she knows like I have nothing but amazing things to say about you guys. So like knowing I had you guys like seriously was such a blessing. Like, you know? Dude. And it's crazy to think that it was literally just because care.com. Like, there should be a care.com ad.
This podcast is brought to you by care.com. No, it's like, it's amazing that we found each other. And it's been so amazing to watch you like grow and blossom as a human and like our friendship grow and your relationship with Grace. And I feel like your graduation was kind of like a culmination of all of that. And even just like getting invited to that, I cried because you only got so many tickets. And I'm like, you want us to go? And it was so fun to celebrate you. You ran into the ocean in your cap and gown. Grace still talks about that.
That is so funny. So I only got a certain amount of tickets. And there was no doubt in my mind that it was you and Steven. When I'm going to reflect back on my college years, I'm going to think of you guys. You know, like I'm not going to think about the sorority or like the classes or professors. I'm going to think of you guys, like Sarah, Steven, and Grace. And now Alice.
Yeah.
And so it meant the world to me that you guys were even able to come and be there. Like my sister, my parents, my sister's boyfriend, my best friend flew into town.
Yeah.
Shout out Kaden.
Shout out Kaden.
I know you're listening to this. And it was just so special because that was your first time like meeting my sister and Kaden. And like, I know I've talked so much about them to you.
Yeah.
So like just getting to have all of my favorite people in one place. And it was such a fun day. Going into the ocean in my cap and gown was so fun.
Iconic.
Thank you. The cap had to be thrown away after, but the gown is still going strong. So, but no, graduation was so fun. And I'm so glad you got to be there. And like, Grace was so cute that Josh told me like the whole time she was bored waiting for me to be on the screen.
Yep.
Like, where's Hannah? So funny.
It was super fun and it was cool to celebrate you. And I also think it was really great that you were able to get a little bit of a gap between your graduation and stopping working for us and starting your corporate America job. Because I know they wanted you to start right away. And then you were like, can I start on this date 2 weeks later?
Yes.
Because then you got to have like a little bit of a celebration. You went on a trip.
Yes. When they originally asked me, what's your start date? I literally said like 3 days later, like, give me the weekend. And I didn't think anything of it because I was so eager to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so ready. And it was really like my parents and you guys, like honestly, Steven.
It was Steven.
He was like, Hannah, you have forever to work. You need to do something. We were brainstorming where I was going to go. Like I really wanted to go to Hawaii or like Florida. Like I just wanted tropical.
Yep.
So I ended up going to Mexico, which was so fun. My first time in Mexico.
Yep.
Got passport expedited.
Yes. You and your boyfriend.
Yes.
I'm like saying your boyfriend as if we didn't talk about Josh.
Yeah,
for like
Josh.
20 minutes. Josh.
And it was honestly such a fun trip. Like, and I'm so glad that I had you guys pushing me to do it because you honestly were like the like voice in the back of my head, like, do it. And I was like, okay, you're right. I need to do it. So it was so fun. And I'm glad I had the break. And then coming right back, I'm like, okay, Good.
Yeah.
It was fun.
You did a PowerPoint presentation for us. Hannah
Yes.
made us a 1970s style slideshow of her trip. Like when old people would be like, and here's us at Niagara Falls. That was like a full like chronological look at their trip. It was amazing.
Here's Josh hitting his drink limit for the day.
Yes.
It was so funny because throughout the whole trip in the back of our heads, we knew we were making you a slideshow. So anytime Josh would be like, no photos, I'm like, Josh, the slideshow. He's like,
the
okay.
slideshow.
Like, what smile? Like, we took photos of everything and like, it was so fun getting to show you guys, like, and having a story behind each photo.
Yes.
And we all decided, what's the icon of the sea, 2026?
Yes. Yeah, we gotta go.
Yeah,
I think it's Royal Caribbean.
Okay, yeah. We all decided we're doing that together.
Yes.
So
For Hannah's graduation gift, we bought her and Josh the drink package on their cruise because we were like, you guys were like talking about doing it. We're gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. And we were, Stephen and I were like, what should we get her for? Like, how could we ever, right? Like, encapsulate how amazing you've been. And Stephen's like, we should get them the drink package to be like, Hannah, thank you for being responsible. Now go be irresponsible.
like literally, I remember at lunch after graduation is when you guys told me and my jaw was on the floor. And Stephen in his little baby voice, Grace said, Hannah, I want you to get trashed. And I was like, this is the best gift ever. Thank you, Grace. And I unfortunately never hit my drink limit because I am a lightweight, but one night Josh got cut off, so we had a photo of him smiling with the water bottle that the bartender handed him. Like, you can't drink, but here's some water, bud.
Yes.
Go to bed.
Yeah. So we're planning our iconic couples cruise.
Which I'm so excited
next year.
for.
We were also supposed to go to Vegas together, and then I had to go and get pregnant.
So funny.
Or didn't one of us get sick before? And then we were going to reschedule it, I got pregnant.
Steven got sick. Yeah. And then it was supposed to be like 2 or 3 weeks later. And then we haven't even talked about you telling me that you were pregnant.
Yeah.
There's so much we need to talk about.
There's so many stories.
I just came to work like usual. And Steven's in the kitchen and you and Grace are sitting on the couch. And you were like, Grace has something to tell you. So I'm like, oh, what is it? And she goes, baby in mommy's tummy. And I was like, baby gummy? Like, what? Like, because it was still at the point where sometimes I needed you to, like, tell me what she was saying. Mm-hmm. And you, like, could tell you were, like, waiting for me to, like, get it. You were like, baby gummy? No, Hannah, baby in tummy. And I was like, baby in tummy? And you were like, uh-huh. And then you, like, pulled out the ultrasound. And it was, like, 2 weeks from our Vegas trip. So I was like, yes. Like, I'm so happy for you.
So happy for you, but weren't we going to go to Vegas together?
What are they called? Because I've never been to Vegas.
Yeah.
So it's the drinks, the Fat
Tuesdays.
You and I specifically talked about how excited we were to get Fat Tuesdays. And I was like, am I supposed to get one by myself? Yeah. Are we not going? So we ended up canceling because we were like, this won't be fun for Sierra. Like, so.
And we have to reschedule.
I think we said once Alice is older.
Yes. It has to happen.
I look forward to it.
Counting down the days.
Honestly, why haven't we booked it yet?
Right? Well, also, last week we were trying to book another thing to go do, and we failed miserably. I'm sure many people watching this can relate. We tried to get Sabrina Carpenter tickets. We were going to DIY little heart-shaped cutout tops.
We had the whole vision. I was so excited, and I'm in the queue. I'm like, Sierra, like, I'm gonna, like, whatever tickets are available, we're doing it. I finally get in, and it wasn't Ticketmaster. It was like is it Axis, the AXS?
Uh-huh.
I get in, and it's glitching so hard. It eventually kicks me out because it says I'm a bot.
You're like, I am a person.
I literally was so infuriated. I was so upset because I love Sabrina Carpenter, and, like, I have been a fan, like, for so long. I wanted to see her so bad. And every time I would find 2 tickets, I'd click on them. Oh, sorry, these are taken. I eventually was literally looking in the pit because I was like, are we about to, like, drop so much? I don't care. We're seeing her. Oh, these are taken. All that was left was single. And I'm like, I'm not going to, like, have you be 3 rows away.
And you're like FaceTiming. This is awesome.
And so then I go to all the, like, resell, like, Vivid Seat, SeatGeek.
They're like $800.
No, the upsell, like, I was like, there needs to be some sort of way. Maybe there's one in place and I just don't know, where they, like, don't allow resale.
Right.
Unless you're like, it's the same price people bought them for.
That's how it is for the Oogie Boogie Bash at Disneyland. You're not allowed to resell them.
Because
why can't it be that way?
Because it's just not fair. Like, you just bought this ticket that literally, there were some for $65, and then you go to resale and it's like $250.
Yeah.
And then the pit are now like $1,000. And I'm like, what? Like, Sabrina would not approve of this.
Yeah.
She wouldn't.
Sabrina.
Please send us tickets.
All I want to see is you do the feather dance.
It's like, you know what's so funny is when I first met Riayn and Paloma, I remember them mentioning they were Sabrina Carpenter fans. And at the time, I liked her, but like not enough to go to her concert. And especially because like none of my friends really listened to her.
Yeah.
And I remember they're like, oh, we're going to see her in San Diego. And I was so jealous. Like, damn it, guys, I would have asked to come. And like those tickets were probably like $40.
Right.
Like 2 years ago.
I only recently became a fan. Honestly, after her Coachella performance, I knew who she was. I knew she was like becoming a main pop girly. And then her Coachella performance of All Because I Liked a Boy, I was like, you're a vocalist.
So I think I told you, but my old roommate went and she like took pictures on her camera of Sabrina. And like the whole weekend before she went, I was like, please send me pictures of the goddess. And she was sending me them. And I have never had such bad FOMO.
Yeah.
Of this year's Coachella. Because I've never been to Coachella. But the lineup this year was so good. I would have done anything to see Sabrina Carpenter there.
Let's add that to our couples bucket list. Because Steven is dying to go back. Steven and I went to Coachella like way long ago when we first started dating. And you know, he's like all into his EDM music. Yes. And so you would get to see Raver Steven.
I would love that because I am dabbling very, very into house music. Like I literally talked to Steven about it. I was like, yeah, I like Fisher. Chris, like, he's like, Hannah, that is so basic. And he's like telling me the artist he likes. And I'm like, yeah, I don't even know what that is. He's like, yeah, you like, they are different, but I would love to see Steven at a rave.
Yes.
Like truly, because it just would crack me up.
I do feel like you know Steven and I on such a deeper level now. You know, like you really do know who we are. We're not just like Grace's parents anymore.
Oh, totally, yeah.
But Raver Steven is an even different level than
I
that.
need to see it because there's like, I still just see Steven as the dad.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, I can't even comprehend him like being
right.
Like I just can't even see it.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on this, Hannah, doing this with me.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun. I will come back anytime.
Yeah, it was, pretty last minute me planning these episodes and being like, what am I going to do without Riayn and P? I don't know. And you're just like one of my favorite people to talk with. And I was so excited when you said yes.
I was so excited when you asked me. I immediately texted Kaden a screenshot and I said, I literally am going to be famous.
The next Alex Earl. You saw her here. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Hannah, for being here. Thank you, Jess, for running the show, as always. If you guys want more of 20 Whatever, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok. I think that's everything that I'm supposed to plug. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Please note that this episode may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products and services. Individuals on the show may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to in this episode.